Yo, what is going on, y'all? It's your boy HD MMA back at it again with another video. Today, we're going over my predictions and picks for UFC Fight Night Seattle. Israel Adesanya versus Joey P. Big Smoky Joe Pyfer. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the main event. The rest of the fight card really isn't that exciting to me. One other fight excites me, and it's Monster Abdul Malik versus Yusri Bogarwi. I think that's gonna be a pretty good fight. Two rising middleweight prospects clashing early on in their careers. We don't really get that too often anymore in the UFC. Usually they put guys against a bunch of fucking cans and schmucks until they get to the top 15. It's rare that we get two rising prospects with hype behind them clashing early on in their career before they're both ranked. So that's gonna be pretty good, exciting. I think Macy Barber's on the card. We get to see some jiggles there. Grasso's flat as a board, so she's not gonna be doing much, but winning that fight. Who else? Ignacio Bahamondes is on the card, and rest are fucking bunch of bums. So let's get into this shit. I'm going to be going through every fight on the card from the early prelims all the way to that big main event with Smokey Joe. So without further ado, let's get into this. First fight, we got Alexa Thainara versus Bruna Brazil. I'm going with Alexa Thainara in this one. Bruna Brazil, she's just a fighting nerd type merchant. There's nothing really to her that is gonna worry me about her being able to win this fight. I watched the last fight. She got held up against the fucking cage by some butch-looking Brazilian chick, and an even more butch-looking Brazilian chick, I think, is gonna do the same thing to her, and probably even get her down and get a sub. Probably. Alexa Thainara, she's very dominant, very strong in the grappling, and Bruna Brazil is a fucking women's strawweight string bean, pretty much, that does not have the physicality to really get these stocky, more built kind of girls off of her in the clinch and the grappling. So I predict Alexa Thainara is just going to do exactly that. Get her up against the cage, pressure her back, get her in that clinch, get her in the grappling, probably even take her down, control her on top, get down in position, probably go for subs or either ground and pound off of that, and pretty much win the fight basically off of that. So I got Alexa Thainara here, probably by unanimous decision. Maybe she gets like a late round 3 sub if she really wants to finish and put the gas on Brazil. But yeah, I don't really see any way Bruna Brazil wins this fight. I just expect her to get smushed up and smudged for the entire fight. So yeah, I got Alexa Thainara. Moving on, we got Ricky Simone versus Adrian Yanez. I'm going Adrian Yanez in this one by a unanimous decision as well. I got Yanez to pretty much outbox Simone for the majority of the fight. Simone, he's very plotty, very powerful for the bantamweight division as well, but he's very plotty, doesn't really move that much, doesn't really use anything else but trying to get in close to you to land a big hook or a big power shot. And Yanez, who's had some hype behind him, he's dropped a couple, lost some hype from that as well. But Yanez, he's a very good boxer. Uses the jab very well, uses straight shots very well, moves around on the back foot very well, and I think he can piece up Ricky Simone for the majority of the fight. Use the jab, use the straight, use a bit of his length and his distance to get to land the better straight shots against the Ricky Simone, who's going to be closing distance, who's going to be looking to land a big power hook on Yanez. I think Yanez can evade the short range danger of Ricky Simone, and piece him up and like just jab him up, outbox him from there from long range. Simone also doesn't really throw that many kicks as well, so I don't think Yanez has much to worry about in that department. I think he can pretty much stay in that boxing range that he likes to be in and jab up Simone without worrying about having to get his calf beat up by leg kicks. So yeah, I'm going with Adrian Yanez in this one. I think decision probably maybe a 29-28. He gets it takes him a bit to get his range in the first round, and then in the second and third he peaks up Ricky Simone with the long range boxing combo. So yeah, I'm going with Adrian Yanez in this one. Moving on, we got Navajo fucking Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. I'm going with Navajo Sterling in this one by a round 2 TKO or TKO. I promise. Not I promise. I presume that's what I meant to say. Bruno Lopez, he does have some like danger and explosivity to him. He does like pressure a bit, but he's very chinny and he's very open on the feet and simplistic. And he also got smoked up by Dustin Jacoby, who is a good kickboxer, and Navajo Sterling is a very good kickboxer. Comes from City Kickboxing. They usually do good work with these types of builds, these heavier kickboxing based kind of guys, and I see Navajo Sterling being able to find his shots way better than Bruno Lopez can find his, be able to use his striking, pick at Bruno Lopez with the front kicks, get him with jabs and stuff like that. Just use his long range weapons that he has. He has a big reach advantage in this fight as well as a height advantage. So use the long range weapons. Pick at Bruno Lopez and be able to eventually find a shot that hurts Lopez. I think Lopez got hurt initially with the jab in his Dustin Jacoby fight as well. So I think Navajo Sterling can find that power shot that puts Lopez down and eventually finish him, probably up against the cage or just on the ground. Navajo Sterling, although he is very good, he has been lacking a big finish to really get some hype behind him and really get like kind of the UFC to make a push for him. That's why even though he's 8-0 and undefeated, that's why he's kind of majority like flown under the radar as a prospect for a lot of people. And I see this fight being his big finishing way to kind of get some hype behind him and maybe get pushed for better competition or like a top 15 opponent or shot into the rankings. So yeah, I'm going with Navajo starting this one, round 2 TKO. Finds the shots easy on Lopez. Takes a bit to really get some power behind it and be able to clip Lopez and really put him down hard. But when he does that, I see him being able to find that in being able to put down Lopez and finish him when inside 2 rounds. So yeah, oh shit. Damn. Yeah. All right. Moving on. We got Casey O'Neill versus Gabriela Fernandez. I'm going with Fernandez in this one. Casey O'Neill, even though she is younger, she has been very on and off in her career, and Fernandez has beat way higher rated comp to me in her most recent career, and she's also on a 3-fight win streak. She beat I think she beat Carly Judice in a split decision. She beat fucking a couple other girls in a split decision, and she's pretty much lost to girl. Oh, she beat Wayne Kong, I believe, in a. I think she finished Wayne Kong by submission. So yeah, and she's also only kind of lost to girls who were in that like top 15 or top 10 kind of spot in her division. So I see her being able to get this over Casey O'Neill, probably winning the grappling, I'd presume. O'Neill, she has had trouble in the past with the grappling. She got submitted by Ariana Lipsky. So I see Fernandez being able to get the grappling off on her and pretty much dominate there when she does. So got Fernandez probably by unanimous decision, maybe a round 2 sub if I'm feeling frisky, which I'm not with these with a lot of these women fights. So yeah. Moving on, we got Marcin Tybura. Marcin Tybura. I fought him. When I fought him, he was a really great fighter. He was excellent. Marcin Tybura, mate. If I wanted my eye to get poked out by anyone, it would be by bloody Marcin Tybura, mate. We got Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. I'm going with Marcin Tybura in this one. I'm thinking a unanimous decision. When I was researching this guy, I was researching him, watching his fights. He's a longtime PFL Bellator guy. But when I was watching him, right, I was not getting I beat Marcin Tybura in my UFC debut level of skill. I just wasn't. He was getting taken down. I think in his most recent loss, he got subbed by a heel hook in the first round, which is very like unathletic heavyweight sort of behavior, and like loss kind of and all like the way he lost kind of way. Like he looked very helpless and like he did not know how to defend the position in the entire time he was in there. So I got Marcin Tybura to pretty much dominate in the grappling. I think he takes this guy down, beats him up on the ground, probably gets dominant position, gets some mount probably, or gets the back, grinds this guy out, and probably might even sub him. I can see like a late round 2 sub for Tybura after he beats this guy up from like the mount or something, or maybe like the fucking against the cage, like on like sort of in like the fucking Chimaev Whitaker position. He's on the back and the guy has his knees up, and they're both like both of their sides are up against the cage, and he's beating the guy up there, and he like sinks in an arm under the neck, and he gets like a rear naked. I can see that again for Tybura. But yeah, just original look at this guy, I did not get I beat Marcin Tybura in my UFC debut. And I also think this fight was on short notice, if I believe. I think a fight with Tybura was supposed to fight like Volter Walker, some prospect like that, and they pulled out, so they called this guy up. So yeah, I got a Marcin Tybura crafty fraud check coming up. Moving on, we got Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. I got Chase Hooper in this one by a round 1 sub. Lance Gibson Jr., he is not UFC level at all in any sense of the word, letters, or combination of words put together in the sentence. This guy should not be in the UFC. He is absolute fucking horseshit at fighting. Should be stuck on regionals, and he should just be fucking landlocked to that. He is not in any way UFC level. Striking, not UFC level. Grappling, not UFC level. which is why I fucking this guy is the sole reason why I picked Daniel Zellhuber to beat Bobby Green, because Bobby Green took this guy to a fucking split decision. And I thought this guy was fucking UFC, not UFC level back then. So when it was time for Bobby Green to fight Zellhuber, I thought Zellhuber would fucking chin him, and Bobby Green ended up chinning Zellhuber. So yeah. Anyway, this guy's not UFC level. I'm expecting Chase Hooper to probably take him down and get a very quick sub on him, take the back easy, get a rear naked, probably some shit like that. Just smoke this guy up in the grappling in round one. So yeah, he looked so fucking vulnerable against Bobby Green on the back foot, to where Bobby Green just felt comfortable just walking at him with his hands down like Bobby Green was fucking Mr. X or some shit like that. Just genuinely had no fear in his heart, and he was taking this guy down at will with ease. So yeah, I expect Chase Hooper to be able to get his grappling off and submit this guy pretty fucking easily. So yeah, and moving on to the headliner for the prelims, we got Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tafik Musayev. I'm going with Ignacio Bahamondes in this one. I'm going by a round 2 sub. I think Bahamondes has the technical ability to out-grapple Musayev for the whole fight, pretty much. Even though Bahamondes does he uses his grappling as like kind of a way to get guys to disengage off of him and get back up to his feet. He does have pretty slick submissions. He submitted Jalen Turner, I believe, and another guy that I'm forgetting. But yeah, I think Bahamondes has slick enough submissions to defend or to catch this guy in. He fought Maktabek Orblai in his debut, got Komored in round 1 pretty much. Looked kind of helpless on the ground against Orblai as well. I know Orblai, he's a very good grappler, as we've seen in his most recent fight with Chris Curtis. But even Chris Curtis didn't look that helpless in the jiu-jitsu against Orblai like Musayev did. So yeah, I'm picking Bahamondes to have the more technical jiu-jitsu base to be able to get a takedown on Musayev, and also be able to use his range and length to stump Musayev on the feet. Musayev, he's kind of undersized for lightweight, 5'9", 69-inch reach. I don't think that's going to cut it in the modern lightweight landscape. When you have guys, you have like the average top 15 contender at lightweight is 5'10" or 5'11", with an over 70-inch reach, and then you have a guy like Ignacio Bahamondes who's 6'3" in there. So yeah, I think Musayev is gonna get height mogged, frame mogged, fucking size mogged, reach mogged, and just pretty much fucked up in the grappling. And I also expect Bahamondes to be slick on the feet as well. He made it very competitive with Fiziev on the feet. He made Fiziev shoot on him and grapple him. So he made Fiziev uncomfortable enough on the feet to just make him shoot on Bahamondes and engage in the grappling willingly. So even if a guy like Fiziev is uncomfortable on the feet to where he's shooting takedowns on you, I think you're gonna be pretty okay when you're fighting a guy who doesn't even have a fucking fighter silhouette picture, and he's already been in the UFC. So yeah, round 2 sub. Maybe he he catches Musafayev after he like drops him or something like that, or maybe just shoots the takedown, gets him down against the cage, and gets like mount or something, or gets the back and subs him like that. So yeah, moving on. We got the first fight on the main card, and it is Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. This is probably my most volatile pick on this entire card. And I am going I'm going with Terrence McKinney. The reason why it's so volatile is because McKinney, if he doesn't get his way and pretty much just get his like offense off and either chin you or sub you in the first round, he is so helpless and will just break in there and just let his opponent just fuck him up in any way they can. If his opponent shows just a little bit of fight back in adversity in him, McKinney will just fucking give up and let them have their way with him. But I think he'll be able to get get Kyle Nelson out in the first round. Blah, Jesus. Kyle Nelson, he is very unassuming. He looks like a fucking Honey I Shrunk Sean Strickland, as he's got that kind of head structure. But Nelson, he's very unassuming. He's very open to straight punches. 1-2 down the pipe, I see. Works on him very well. That's how he lost to fucking Billy Quarantillo. In the third round, Quarantillo come out, hit him with that fucking 1-2 and pretty much just folded him. And McKinney's got a mean 1-2. He KO'd Matt Favola in that way, and McKinney KO'd Matt Favola and dusted him up way quicker than Kyle Nelson did. Kyle Nelson, he took him 3rd rounds, even though that fight should have been stopped in the first. But it took him till the end of the first to even get Matt Favola to fucking to be that way or fuck him up in that way. McKinney dusted up Favola in 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that kind of shit. So yeah, I see McKinney being able to pressure Nelson back, Nelson having that open guard that he always does, and McKinney being able to put a 1-2 on him and hurt him really bad and finish him. So yeah, Nelson, he's very like pipsqueak-ish. He's kind of has like a Ayman Zahabi-esque kind of build where he's very like unassuming and like even dweeb looking. And I think McKinney is not gonna be like intimidated by Nelson and like back down from him, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know if Nelson has that like dog in him to fight back against McKinney if McKinney puts that pepper on him early. So yeah, McKinney round 1 KO. It is very liable to change though. So yeah, and if it does, what can you fucking do? So yeah, moving on. This is the fight I'm most excited for other than the main event. We got Monster Abdul Malik versus Yusri Belgarawi. I'm going with Yusri Belgarawi in this one by unanimous decision. Belgarawi, we know he's a great kickboxer. He beat Alex Pereira in kickboxing. Coming into the UFC, he's training with Alex Pereira as well. He's in that gym, the Glover's gym, getting that training and getting that. I'm a long, lengthy kickboxer, and the coaches over there, they know how to build that body type into a pretty much a untakedownable a fucking untakedownable force at middleweight with these long, lengthy kickboxers. And I think Yusri Belgari has good enough takedown defense to defend the takedowns of Monster Abdul Malik, and he has a good enough chin to take the power shots of Monster Abdul Malik as well. And we all know who is the more technical striker on the feet as well. So I see Yusri Belgari being able to defend the takedowns, defend the early sort of onslaught of Monster Abdul Malik, and as the fight goes on, being able to land combos on Monster Abdul Malik, piece him up with the jab, the right straight. Belgari also has good knees and elbows. When guys close the distance on him, he has very good knees to the body and elbows up close in the clinch. I seen him being able to use those on Abdul Malik as Malik kind of like rushes in with his athleticism and its explosiveness. I see Belgari being able to catch him there as well. I see just being able to piece him up and stay on the feet with the takedown defense. So I'm going with Yusri Belgari in this one. I think a unanimous decision, like fucking 30-27 kind of stuff. I don't think Abdul Malik is gonna get finished by Belgari like Bakoyev was. In that Bakoyev win on Belgari, he's very proven from that win. I think Bakoyev, he was a tough, like, kind of a prospect with some hype around him. His wins, looking back in hindsight, aren't really that impressive considering what Zachary Reese and Ryan Loder, what they've been up to in the UFC. But Koyev was trying to put the fight on him and put that pressure on Belgari, and Belgari passed with flying colors. And I think he's going to be able to do the same in this fight. So yeah, very exciting. Two middleweight contenders with finishing potential getting in there against each other. We don't get that. We don't get that. Usually these guys will have to be ranked like somewhere in the top 10 or top 15, and then they'll like headline a fucking Apex card in order to get that. So yeah. Moving on, we got that's not the featured fight. Moving on, we got fucking Julian Erosa versus Larion Douglas. This fight was very hard for me to pick because of how fucking like sort of hit or miss Julian Erosa could be. But I'm picking Larion Douglas. I see Douglas being able to chin fucking Erosa. Douglas, he's very explosive, very powerful. We saw that in his Contender Series fucking fight where he knocked out FaZe Jev in the first round. And Erosa, man, he's so open on the feet, doesn't move his head, doesn't keep his hands up, doesn't really defend any punches that are coming to his chin. Pretty much just takes him on the chin, or he might duck a little bit like that to evade like one punch, but pretty much just sits there with his head on the center line and will try to just blockhead pressure you. And if you have like a bit of power and a bit of fucking if you have power and popping your shots, you can get him out of there. And I think Douglas has enough power and popping his shots to be able to put a big looping shot on Erosa's chin and put him down and finish the fight from it. So yeah, I'm going with Douglas in here. Maybe Erosa will have some chance in the grappling if he tries to get it off early enough. But if this fight stays on the feet, I see Douglas being able to find a big looping punch with power behind it, put it on the chin of Erosa, and drop him pretty bad or just flatline him from there. So So yeah, I'm going with Douglas. I would say round 1 KO by Douglas. Yeah. Moving on to the featured fight, we got Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. I'm going with Michael Chiesa by round 1 sub in this one. Nico Price, he's just way too old, way too goofy, way too slow to be a UFC level guy. He's been getting finished. He's on a 3-fight loss streak. Two of his last 3 being by finish. So yeah, I see fucking Michael Chiesa, damn, forgot his name for a second. Michael Chiesa being able to latch up some type of choke, whether that be a Darce or a rear naked, and get the tap early on a guy like Nico Price, who is just way too old, way too slow, and kind of on. I see Nico Price just getting on like a finish, like a spiraling finish loss streak until like the UFC just cuts him, or he just like retires from there. So yeah, I see Michael Chiesa being able to put that grappling on him. Chiesa, he's always had good grappling, although he's dropped some by sub. He's gotten most of his wins by submission. He's also been fighting a lot of good guys. If you look at Chiesa's resume, he's been fighting like killers pretty much his entire UFC career. Since he got into the UFC via the Ultimate Fighter, he's been fighting like a murderer's row pretty much. And especially like a lot in his earlier career as well. So yeah. Or a lot of guys with like either they're really good or guys with a lot of like big name value with hype behind them. So yeah, I'm going with Chiesa in this one. Round 1 sub, gets the takedown, latches up, gets the back, and gets the rear naked, or latches up like a Darce or an Anaconda or something like that. So yeah. Moving on to the co-main event, we got Alexa Grasso versus Maycee Barber. I'm going with Alexa Grasso in this one. This is a rematch. The rematch everyone's been fucking clamoring and fucking sitting outside the fucking UFC Apex to see. They're sitting outside of the UFC PI to recommend this rematch to Dana White and Hunter Campbell and them. So yeah, we're finally got our long-awaited rematch. I already said who I wanted to win. I said or who I had to win. I had Alexa Grasso. In the first fight, Maycee Barber, she was trying to move her way in on Grasso. Grasso was pretty much just outboxing her and out grappling her pretty much, or just defending the grappling as well. And I see it happening in this fight as well. Barber, she kind of just coasts off her physicality and being kind of like the more square bodied kind of girl in there, just having just a more square, more deep body than the rest of her female competitors, and just kind of using that to push them up against the cage and get the takedowns. And I don't think Grasso is gonna let Maycee Barber do that to her. Grasso, she's very blockaded in herself as well, very pressure heavy, likes to either stand her ground or pressure girls backwards. And I don't see Barber just being able to bully Grasso and back her up. I think they're either just gonna be circling each other or just standing in front of each other. I think Grasso has a big boxing advantage on the feet, and I think she also has the grappling know-how to defend the takedowns and the clinch exchanges from Barber. You need a very light on their feet, cuts, angles, sticks and moves kind of fighter, like an Natalia Silva, that kind of girl, to be able to defeat someone like Grasso, who does just follow you around if you move and plot around on you. You need to have very good movement and footwork on the back foot to be able to cut the angles and find the shots on Grasso. And Barber does not have that kind of movement on the back foot to be able to do that. She moves, but she doesn't cut angles and like skate around on the back foot to find like shots. She just kind of moves forward into girls. And Alexa Grasso, that's pretty much her whole career doing that. She won the belt off of that. So yeah, so I don't see Barber being able to implement her very physical game plan on fucking Grasso. So yeah. And even though Barber ass and tit mogs her to death, I see Grasso picking up the UD win. So yeah, outboxing her as well. Barber, she hasn't really changed her striking form much from the first fight at all. Just kind of just swings overhands while looking down and looking to the sides of her. And Grasso can at least put a 1, 2, 3 together. She can at least put boxing combinations together. So yeah. Moving on, we got the main event, and it is Israel Adesanya versus Big Smoky Joe. Joe Pyfer. I got Izzy by round 2 TKO. Pyfer, I know we all love Piper. We all love Pyfer, the memes, the body cams. He just accepted Jesus as well, so I always love to see that. But Izzy, I think Izzy, he's just lost to the top guys. I think Imavov, Strickland, and Duplessis are the top guys at middleweight, and Izzy just doesn't have that. He has a lot of footage on him. He's been figured out by those guys, and he's no longer the most athletic guy in the division. I think so. To be at that like top level of the division, so yeah. And those guys are also very tricky. Strickland, he's very tricky. Duplessis, he's very unassumingly like goofy, but there is some technique behind it. Imavov, he's very fast, and he's also technical as well. So yeah, I just think those guys are kind of like Izzy's like nightmare matchup, whereas Pyfer, he's very, very physical, but he's very, very, very simple. He kind of just plots at you and wades forward until he can put a big right hand on you, or like 1-2 on you, or he like maybe he'll shoot in for a takedown. And in his most recent fight against Abus was low key dominating in the grappling in the first round, and then he just got tired and Pyfer put a big right hand on him, and that's how he got him down and he was able to get the back. But in the technical ability, Pyfer couldn't even take down Abus. He got taken down by Abus, and he pretty much got out grappled for that entire for pretty much the entire fight until the second round. So yeah, I see Izzy being able to piece up Pyfer on the back foot, figure out Pyfer pretty early, pretty much just, hey, I gotta evade. I'll go to evade this big right hand. I gotta evade the big right hand. You know, I'm gonna touch him up with Twin Towers. Trust that kind of shit. Evade the big right hand of Pyfer, piece him up on the back foot. Izzy, he needs to. I would say my only critique about Izzy is that he does not find his jab. He does just kind of like try to clip farm and land a big right hand on you. You saw this against Blachowicz, he was doing this. Against Strickland, he was doing this. Against Pereira, he was doing this, where he was just trying to find big right hands on. He's trying to find big right hands on guys. He doesn't really use his reach that much. His reach, according to his wingspan, he does kick at range at guys. He does like do the long range with his legs, but with his hands he doesn't really keep range that well. So but I think it's enough to ward off a guy like Pfeiffer, who does just wade forward and follows guys. And I also think he can defend the grappling against Pfeiffer. Right? Like I said, Pfeiffer couldn't even take down Abus. So I don't think he's gonna be able to take down Izzy, who is very hard to take down. Duplessis had to get Izzy to a fourth round in order to even to find like success in the grappling. So yeah. I got Izzy moving around the back foot, and I think he eventually finds a big shot on Pfeiffer, and I think round 2, and hurts him and puts him down from that. So yeah, I mean, I want Pfeiffer to win as much as the next guy, but I don't think I think this is too tall of a task. I would love to see Pfeiffer turn the body cam off and put this godless heathen to bed with the right hand with the power of Christ behind it. So yeah, I would love that more. I would love to watch that live more than anyone else, but I don't see it happening. So yeah, those are my picks for this fight card. I got Israel Adesanya, round 2 TKO, Grasso by unanimous decision, Chiesa by round 1 sub, Douglas by round 1 KO, Belgarawi by unanimous decision, McKinney by round 1 KO, Bahamondes by round 2 sub, Chase Hooper round 1 sub, Tabora round 2 sub, Fernandez unanimous decision, Sterling round 2 TKO, Giannis unanimous decision, and Thainara by fucking unanimous decision. So yeah, those are my picks. Be sure to bet the house on them like always. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Be sure to like, comment, sub. I'll probably pop in the main card for a fight companion on this one as well. So stay tuned for that. And I will be uploading a reaction and breakdown when this card is finished as well. So be sure to stay tuned for that. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Hope you guys enjoy the fights tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.